right, welcome to the video on Equation Editor in Google Docs. If you didn't notice, before this there was one posted on how to do Equation Editor in Microsoft Word. Again, you get complete control over which one you'd like to use. I personally like Microsoft Word better, but both of them do have their advantages. This one does do a couple things nicer, specifically some of the symbols available, but we're not going to worry too much about that for the most part. What we need is available in both. Okay, let's start off by taking a look at a few different symbols. Ooh, I didn't want to transition to myself again. Oh, there we go. A few of the symbols that are available. So here it's already set up actually, but if I go to Insert Equation, that will let me set up an equation there. And unlike Microsoft, where it was over here that you punched stuff in or above, there's just a few little things over here at the bottom. That's the entire equation editor. And I realized that they're fairly small, but you can try this on your own afterwards and make sure it does what you think it does. So there's only really 5 drop-down boxes here. Microsoft Word had several more. But you can access all the Greek letters here. So the ones that you might want to use, you could want to use delta if you're in calculus. You may want to use things like theta if you're working with angles. Let me just see if I can actually make this a little bit larger. It really doesn't do much with the equation editor. That'll have to do. Pi you're going to want to use when you're doing any kind of circle geometry pretty much. And things like delta if you want to do the difference between variables. So there's others there, obviously, but I don't need to point out all of them. The second drop-down box has mathematical symbols, so things that you might use are like multiply and divide, plus and minus, minus plus, and I explained what those were in the other video. I'm not going to do it again just because I think many of you probably are watching both videos. If not, they're just the opposites of each other. Now this one does have a few things that the other didn't. So there's this symbol here and this symbol here, which represents natural numbers and real numbers. That can come in handy when you're working with sets, but we can also just, forget those and do N and R. It works just fine. So anyway, those are some of the symbols you can use. And then over here we have relationships, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, and all that stuff. Not equals, set membership right there, which I think is just data management. Okay, and then we get to the good stuff. If we want to make a fraction, I'm just going to click New Equation over here. And again, if you don't see this bar, then you have to click on Insert Equation, but once it's there, it stays there for a little while anyway. So I'm going to click New Equation, and I'm going to choose the fraction symbol. I put it in the wrong place. Okay, let's try that again. Fraction, new equation, fraction symbol. And the one thing that I don't like about this that Microsoft Office does is that in Microsoft Office, all the blank spaces where you're supposed to fill things in have little dotted outlines to let you know where numbers are supposed to go or letters. Here it doesn't, but you know that the top of a fraction should have something and the bottom of a fraction should have something. And there's exactly why I'm not crazy about it. It put the 2 in front instead of, there we go, instead of at the bottom. Having those little dotted boxes is actually a fairly big help. If I want to do exponents, I can do exponents. Same thing, I just click over here, new equation, exponent. And again, no boxes to see, but they are there, so I can put down 2, and then I'm going to click right, the right arrow, and it'll move over 1. So 2 to the exponent 3, right arrow equals 8, or something like that. Subscripts, I think I showed in the other video, you can do stuff like P equals 2, and then I want to put in P sub 0, so I'll use the subscript function, and P 0. Square roots, New equation, square root symbol. Now this one I really am not a fan of. It makes it look like a check mark and then just highlight or puts a line across the top. They don't really line up properly. So square root 25 equals 5. And likewise, you can do a generic root. Same way, insert equation or new equation. That one. And you can do the third root of 8 equals 2. Trig functions. We're going to look up here, and I'm going to point out that, oh look, I don't see anything. Nothing for trig functions. We can still cheat a little bit. There's no reason you can't actually just type in sine, put a bracket if you want one, you don't need to, and then I can throw in the Greek symbol theta if I want, for instance. Or skip the brackets, whatever. So it's not actually technically an equation at this point. It's just basically a fancy typing. It just says sine. The actual functions come out in MS Word, but it works just fine. For logs, excuse me, go over here, insert equation, and again, if I look around here, I don't really see anything for logs. We can fake it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this X subscript A, and I'm going to choose log subscript 10 to be log base 10 of 1,000, and that would be 3. Basically, it's saying what exponent do you put on 10 to get 1,000, and the answer is 3. 10 to the 3 is 1,000. So not as pretty as Microsoft Word, not as sleek, but it does work. Limits. Limits are up here, I believe. This one actually even has the arrow put in. So the limit as x approaches, let's do something a little different. X approaches, is infinity an option? I honestly don't know if I can even do infinity. I cannot. The limit as x approaches 5 of 3x is 15. So as x gets really close to 5, 3x gets really close to 15. That, by the way, is a really horrible limit to even bother working with. It's kind of a waste of its power, but that's what it looks like. Sigma notation. For data management, it does have sigma notation here. It basically gives you the symbol saying add up a whole bunch of things, and you could say A equals 4 to 6 of A. If I can put it in the right place. And that just says plug in 4 wherever you see the letter A, and then move up to the next number 5 and plug in 5, and then move up to the next number 6 and plug in 6, and add those all together. So when I plug in 4, I get 4. When I plug in 5, when I plug in 6, and the total of those takes us to a new line is 15. I hate when things don't work out properly. There we go. I'll collapse this one. Apparently there's plenty of room here. So anyway, that's what this looks like. I don't really like this one as much as the Microsoft Office, but if you need to use it, I mean, the reality is most of what we'll be doing will be fractions, exponents, couple of subscripts, maybe some roots, trig functions, which I can type in just fine. Logs we will be using. Advanced functions in calculus we will use limits. And data management we would use sigma notation. So you choose what you want to use. Look back over the other video and see if MS Office or Word specifically is a better option for you if you have action or access to it. And yeah, you choose your weapon and use it carefully. Like I said, you can use other equation editors and other document suites, whatever, but I can't necessarily help you too much with them. They're all going to work very similar to this. Just play with them and you'll see what they can do, and well, figure out very quickly what they can't do. I'm going to stop there, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a great evening. Bye.